this class is going to be damage control. And everybody can hear me, right? At least there's that. So you're going to need, you need a chair, a wall, a strap, and a block. And you'll probably need some blankets in there somewhere. All right, so let's just start with our Tadasana. I need to tip this a bit. Less window, less glare. There you go. All right. Probably more pleasant. Yeah. Tadasana is then cremated. Hi, Alan. So stand with your feet together, big toes in, and draw up through your legs. Press down through your feet. Firm all the muscles of your legs into the bone. And draw up. And the shoulders back and down. And then extend all the way down through your fingertips. And notice how that releases tension in your neck. So let your neck and head ascend, move upward. Balancing your head on your neck. Find that perfect balance. And you know you found it because every part of you is alerted. It's equally active. Nothing's overworking. Then let's just bring our arms up. Don't be too rigorous at first. You can, but I always take it easy. I go back and start at the bottom because no matter how rigorous I go, I have to start again anyway. And build that pose from the bottom up one more time. And notice where you've tensed, where you've lost your alignment, what's happening. And breathe. And then flex at the wrist, really stretch your hand as you press out and go down. All right, first pose, Utkatasana. Okay, we're only going to do this pose for about 20 seconds at a time. So don't panic because we're going to do it 3 times. Utkatasana. I'm going to go sideways here so you can see just a minute. So when we do Utkatasana, we want to walk ourselves down. I hope I'm not too slippery here. Yeah, it's a little slippery, scary. I'll go get a mat. So that your thighs get parallel to the floor. This may be suicidal, but we'll see. Yeah, that's going to be better. Right. So then, as best you can, the idea is to get the thighs parallel to the floor, the knees over the ankles. Your back is away from the wall, and you stretch your arms up. This should engage your abs big time. Here we go. Breathe. It warms those thighs right up, doesn't it? Just a few more seconds. All right, come on. And just stand up for a minute. On a cold day, this is a good thing to be doing. You will be warmer. Now, we're going to take the block and we're going to put it between our knees. So not your thighs, but just your knees. Get your distance so that you can get your thighs down. Bring your arms up. Stretch your elbows. and come up. Now get your strap and your block and the wall. And again, the block goes between your knees. Just loop the strap. Measure, first of all, measure your strap. And the way you measure the strap is that it's just slightly more narrow than your shoulders. For me, it looks kind of like that. So you can see my shoulders. It's just about my shoulders, maybe slightly more narrow. Not too much. So that's too small, Ellen. Yeah, right here. Distance is right there. And you need a loop. Okay, because we're going to use this to stretch our arms, right? So we need a loop. So Marilee, that's too big. You two are like three bears. And Marilee is too big and Alice is too small. All right, so measure it this way. Hold it, hold your loop, put it up to your shoulders. It should be smaller than your shoulders. Hold your loop open. Right? Hold it open. Hold it up to your shoulders. It should be shoulders or slightly smaller. But not too small because that's too small. Right? Make it your shoulder width. That'll be best for everybody. Shoulder width. Now we're getting. If it's too small, it ruins the whole thing. You can't do it. If it's too wide, well, why do it? So you gotta have it just right. It's Three Bears Yoga. So you guys are fitting right in. So then you just hang it on one arm so it'll be where you need it to be. Now we're gonna go back. We're gonna put our hips on the wall. The block between the knees. Get your thighs down. Put your forearm just below the elbow in the blanket, or in the belt, and lift. Stretch up, squeeze the block, and breathe. Keep breathing. Come up. All right. That's our warm up for the day. That is a wonderful pose, even though it's, I can't think of anybody that says that's their favorite pose. Because it is strenuous, but it's strenuous because we need it, right? Because we need it. Warm me up. Okay. Now get your chair. And if you have 2 blocks, you can use 2 blocks. Depends on how pliable you are. You can stick them up under your chair. Now, the first one we're going to do is at the wall. So you come to, I didn't plan this very well, but nevertheless, you can come to the wall, feet are hip width, toes are in slightly, Tadasana action, lift up. Keep this abdomen lifting, trunk lifting as you go forward, and put your hands on the wall a little bit higher than your shoulders. Just to start there. Then roll the thighs in and lift them up and push back into the legs. See that your whole palm is on the wall, all the fingers. Walk your hands down. Press back a little more. Walk your hands down until you're 90 degrees. If you have to, it's fine to adjust your feet, it happens. Press the inner thighs back. Lift the front thighs up. by lifting your kneecap. And then come up. Then next stage is to use either the seat of the chair. So like Alan, you would use the back of the chair or the seat of the chair. And then others would use maybe the seat or the blocks. Always the main criteria is to keep the front lifted and this upper back in. So if we do like this to do our forward bend, we're hurting ourselves. So we have to find a way to do it where we can keep this posture, chest lifted, thoracic spine in, tailbone, pubic bone, all those things I talk about forever and ever. So Tadasana, lift up and over, keep lifting, come to an easy spot, decide what your distance really should be, and lift. Press from the feet up through the thighs, lift up the tailbone and the pubic bone ascend together so that the abdomen lifts. If you're more pliable and you can keep this upper back concave, you can go to blocks. Keep looking straight ahead, draw your shoulders back, but lengthen your chest forward, your trunk, sides of the body. Keep the legs working. And then come up. Stretch your arms up. And then down. All right. Now we're going to work on a couple of standing poses. You'll need a wall. If you are in your kitchen, you can take a block. Perhaps you can slide a block up under the bottom of the cabinet to give your foot a place to work. So the first one, we're going to face the wall. This is going to be Virabhadrasana 1. You'll be able to use your strap with this too. So we start sideways and we put this is my right foot. So put your right foot at the wall, step out with your left, make your toes slightly pigeon-toed, lift up through your inner legs, up through your trunk, let your shoulders come down, have that distance, and then we're going to turn the left toes in, the right leg out, and the toes go up the wall. May be able to turn your back foot in a bit more at this point. Go ahead and touch the wall. Remember that we want our hip, right now my hip at least is at a big diagonal, and the object is to make it perpendicular to the wall, or parallel to the wall, sorry. So we can come up on that back heel, turn the hip, have your hands a little higher than your shoulders, turn the hip, stretch both legs, turn the hip, draw up through the trunk, turn the hip, stretch both legs. It takes a little doing. Keep that lift and slowly take that back heel down. Now, when you make that effort, notice what happens, especially to the top of the pelvis. You can notice that easily in your belly button. So draw that belly button up. Keep it up as you stretch the back leg and bend the front one. And then come up. Adjust yourself, get ready. Exhale, do again. Come up. Okay, inhale, get ready. Exhale, do again. Bringing your hands down now to more like shoulder height. Press the fingers into the wall. Press back into that back heel. Draw the tailbone in, pubic bone up, abdomen up, shoulders down, chest up, head up. Can you bend any more? And then come up. Square your feet. I'll tell you, the weather must be dry in this house. My sticky mats used to be sticky to the floor, and now they're sliding everywhere. Left foot forward. Okay, let's start with feet parallel. And then we'll turn. And we're going to face the wall so that the left toes go up the wall. The back heel can be up. We turn the hips to face the wall and draw the tailbone forward and up, the pubic bone up, trunk up, chest up, shoulders down, head up. And then on the next exhale, pump that hip around again, straighten your legs, draw up through the pelvis, trunk, neck and head, shoulders down. Then take an inhale. On your next exhale, remember this alignment in the front body. Begin to pump the heel toward the floor. That'd be your right heel. Maintaining the angle of the pelvis, abdomen lifting. Come up. And on the exhale, again, the important thing, now bend the front knee, stretch that back leg. Just keep that trunk lifted and come up. Last one. So get ready. Hip is around. Inhale, get ready. And exhale. Bend the left knee. Press the right heel back. Draw the abdomen up. Chest up, shoulders down. Breathe. And then come up. And step in. Change sides. So the right foot goes back. This time we will use the strap, okay? And we're going to go away from the wall. Sorry, left foot goes back this time again. I know it sounds like I've messed up, but I didn't this time. The left foot is going to go at the wall again. And we're going to face out this time. This time we use the strap, okay? So have it ready on your arm. Feet are nice and wide. If you need a chair for balance, by all means, use the chair for balance. Get your feet nice and wide. Turn the left toes in and the heel stays at the wall and the right foot turns out. This is definitely got to change. And then turn your hip. Turn your hip, lift your chest. Bring both arms into the belt, just below the elbow, between the elbow and the hand, near the elbow, okay? Twist the pelvis, bend the knee, raise the arms, take yourself down, press your heel into the wall, draw up through the trunk, bend that knee, and breathe. If you can, if you're stable, you can look up. And then come up and change sides. Big distance between the feet. Now your right foot is at the wall. So your right foot is at the wall. Turn the right toes in and the whole left leg out. So that right heel presses the wall. Get the hips to turn. Draw the pelvis up. Tailbone, pubic bone, abdomen, chest, shoulders, neck, and head. Put your arms through your belt. Begin to bend that left knee or pressing into the right heel. Lifting the pelvis, lifting through the sides of the body, lifting those shoulders, stretching your arms, continuing to deepen your pose. If you're stable, look up. If you're not, just look straight ahead and breathe. And then come up. Square your feet and step in. Then this one, this is when we're going to play with a little bit more. You're going to need a chair. The first time we can do with the hands in the chair. Let me say that getting your chair in the right spot is a little tricky here because, and I'll show the pose very quickly and then you'll see, but get your chair, your mat, and everything at the wall so that we know where you are. If you're ready. Do you have a chair, Mary Lee? Okay, put it right in front of you. We're going to go this direction. Right. So this pose with the leg action is as before when we start. And we bend this knee, but then we extend forward. And we extend. Now this hip wants to go that way. So you have to really work on this hip when you're going forward. Then we're going to reach forward, step forward, and lift up this leg. Now, then the beauty is how much support are you going to allow this chair? I could stay here a while. This leg isn't having to work very much. So I have to say, no, it's really about the leg. This pose is done with the arms and legs straight out. So it may help you to take up one arm and stretch more. Then you will get more of the action. Stretch through the ball of the left foot. Keep that leg hip high. Nicely done. Come down. And make your feet wide and go to the right leg at the wall. Now make sure your chair doesn't have rollers. That would be scary. As scary as my slippery sticky mat. Okay. Right foot at the wall. So turn the right toes in. Turn the left leg out. You may have to adjust it. Right foot again. Then come back so that that heel presses the wall. You straighten your legs. Draw the pelvis in and up. Lift your chest. Keep that lift. Stretch your arms up as you bend your knee. So at this point, you need to keep the back up. But then you extend forward and step forward and lift up that right leg. Extend through the toes. It's not pointed toes, foot is flexed. All right, and get your extension and get your balance and lift that leg hip high, nice and straight. And that hip stays down, it doesn't roll up. No, it stays down. Stretch your left hand out. Hold the chair with one hand. Use your leg to hold you up rather than your arm. And breathe. And then come down. Stand up. Turns out to be a nice class on a cold day. This is our coldest day so far. Now, that was fun, but this is even more fun. Turn the chair around. Now you have to use your leg more. We still have the chair, the chair for our balance. And believe me, it gives a tremendous amount of support. You have no idea how heavy your trunk can be. Left foot at the wall. Big distance. Right foot out, feet parallel. Lift up. Left toes in, right leg out. And move your hip around. You can adjust that back heel. Move your hips, straighten your legs, lift your trunk. Bend that knee. Stretch your arms up. It's interesting to me, if you'll notice, stretching your arms up helps you to release that knee down. Find it very interesting. Extend forward, keeping that hip in line, and then step in, lift up. So don't grip the chair unless you're just having to do that. Extend your arms. Stand on that right leg. Draw that hip bone into the socket. Stretch the left leg. Both legs straight. And then come down. And switch. This is the last hard standing pose. Take hope. Right heel at the wall. Left foot out, turn your hips. Lift up that pelvis. Get the hips square, lift your chest. Open it up. Stretch your arms up. Bend the knee, bend that left knee. Stretch through the heel of the right leg. Press that into the wall. Keep adjusting. Moving deeper into your pose. Stretching your arms up. Then extend forward. You will push and lift that back leg up. Extending through the foot. Drawing that left hip in. Stretching your arms. Breathing. Get up there. And then come down. Yes, we did it. All right. Now we get to go to the floor. And get a strap. This is going to be Anatasana. So you're going to lay down. I'll mirror you this time. You're going to lay down on your right side. And it really is useful to line yourself up with the edge of your mat. So if you put your ankle on the edge of the mat, there you go. Ankle on the edge of the mat, hip on the edge of the mat, and then extend that right arm down, rib cage on the edge of the mat, armpit on the edge of the mat, and then flex your feet and put the left foot on top of the right. Right here, I want you to practice pressing the heel of the right foot down. The heel that is on the floor, become familiar with pressing that heel down. That is your balance point. And for most people, they tend to go to the toes. It's just a normal kind of a thing. So that's something to be learned. Now that we've had a moment to rest, we're going to bend that right elbow. Make the hand, this thumb open from the fingers. Fingers point down and extend that elbow away so that your shoulder, your armpit comes toward the floor. Draw your shoulder down your back, lift your chest, and find your balance here. So bring the foot on top of the other and the arm on top of your body. Use the heel of the foot on the floor for balance. Then you're going to bend that left leg and see if you can grab your shin and pull it up, and then pull the shin forward and press the thigh back. Balance with the heel on the floor. Then you may need your strap for this. Put the strap around your foot and take it up. Now always leave your arm on the inside, because look, you probably can't tell, you probably can because you can see the bottom of my foot right now. It's going forward. That's what feet want to do at this point. We want to pull it back. And so press the knee into your arm to draw this femur bone into the hip socket, which then allows you to stretch the leg, take the shoulder blades in, lift your chest, and enjoy this pose. If you can grab your big toe, by all means. But pull the leg away. I've been corrected many times because I've just taken advantage of my pliability by pulling my leg over too quickly. So you want to be sure that this femur bone is in the hip socket. Now, if you can, increase your angle. Draw that femur bone down into the hip socket. It's this femur bone into the hip socket. And then come down. Let's change sides. So it's the ankle, the hip, rib cage, armpit, on the floor, and now the right leg is on top and the left leg is on bottom. If that's not the way it's happening at your house, that's just fine. Just invert my instructions in that case. Okay. And then put your top arm on your side. Practice balancing with the heel of the foot that's on the floor. And bend the elbow, your left elbow, open up, thumb away from the fingers, thumb and fingers point down, extend that elbow so that the armpit can come down. Keep the feet flexed, heel pressing the floor, arm on top. Kitty yoga. Now, bend that right knee. If you can, grab your shin or your ankle, hold it up there. This is a little bit like tree pose. Press the knee back, press the hip forward. Press that knee back. This is exactly tree pose action right here. Now get your strap for your foot. Put it on your foot and extend up. Press that heel onto the floor. Bring that leg to 90 degrees. and draw that femur bone into the hip socket. If you can hold your, everything, a lot of it's about proportion and flexibility. And then as you can, begin to deepen that pose, drawing the head of this bone deep into the hip socket. Problem with flexible people is they don't often see the need for grounding. I can speak to that through experience. And then come down. Let's just quickly. Yeah, I keep this saying, we started late. We have a couple of extra minutes. We can do this. Right? Everybody can stay about 5-10 minutes? We started so late. All right, let's go back. Here's what I want to show. You know that this full pose is done from way up in the sky, right? So we're going to do this with the forearm on the floor. We're going to use the idea of the alignment along the edge just because it helps us be accurate. Now, here's the trick to lifting up. You have to bend your knees a little bit, push the top foot on the bottom foot, and then you can lift. That may be enough fun for everybody because it requires a lot of shoulder muscle. And breathe. And then come down. You can feel all the shoulder muscles through here that had to go to work. Let's try the other side. It's honestly easier in many ways when you just do it from a straight arm because there's more integration at that point. This really just isolates the shoulder. We'll work up to that. All right, get yourself down. Get yourself aligned. So you're going to bend the knees a little bit, press down, lift up. Be sure you draw this shoulder blade into the socket and breathe. Open your chest. Breathe. And down. There. That was the first step in our strengthening regime. So now I'm going to suggest we put on sweaters and socks and things because I'm going to have us do some pranayama. And when you're ready, you'll lay down with a blanket under your head. And it's good to give yourself a little more, for pranayama, it's good to have a little height under the head. So depending on your tolerance for it, you can fold it once, or you can fold it this little S, they call it an S fold, where you take it about a third of the way down, take that to the farthest edge. And if nobody could see that, I'm sorry. Let me try again. And now you can see me. The S fold is from a blanket this size And you hold it about a third of the way down, lift it, and take that edge, that folded edge, to the farthest edge over. So see if that one's comfortable. If not, you can just simply fold it once. But you have to remember, in pranayama, classically, we work with Jalandhara Bandha, which is the chin lock. So we want our head to be tipped down just a little bit when we practice pranayama. So lay down when you're ready. You have your socks on and everything feels cozy. And begin to relax. And just soften and release. And become comfortable. It's always good, and take glasses off. When you start Shavasana, it's always good practice to start in Supta Tadasana, laying down Tadasana. That gives you a measurement of what is straight. So with your feet together and the feet flexed, the arms to the side, palms up, and the shoulder blades tucked, take notice of how you're arranged. Use the weight the same through the heels and the legs. Have you adjusted your pelvis so that the hip flesh moves down and the bowl of the pelvis is level with the floor? So it is neither tipping toward your navel or toward your pubis. It's neutral. And the low back may lift slightly from the floor. Again, it shouldn't have a huge arch or be flat. It should have a slight normal curve. Do both sides of your back rest evenly on the floor? Are your shoulder blades tucked equally and evenly? Did you release your arms equally? Observe which knuckles are on the floor, how the skin feels. And is your head placed right in the center of your body? Open your eyes for a moment. Lift your head slightly to look down. And then keep that tuck as you lay your head back down. And then relax your legs. Relax through your pelvis, through your trunk. See how things may shift as you relax. Close your eyes. I'm going to ask you to put your hands on your belly. The fingers don't need to touch, but just on that mid to upper belly so that you can feel the belly move as you breathe. And if you may be doing this already, but I want to begin with the breath where the inhale causes the belly to lift. And the exhale causes the belly to recede. This is like a child breathes, a baby breathes like this. This is a natural breath. Notice where you sense the effect of this breath besides the belly. In your trunk, where do you sense the effect of this breath? Is it all around? Is it on the periphery? Is it in the center? I'm going to suggest, and by saying that, that means everybody doesn't do this, but I'm going to suggest that for many people, this breath seems to focus on this central corridor through the trunk. That's an energy corridor, and I'm not going to go through a lot of Sanskrit names, but that this breath moves for most people in the center of the trunk. And if that's so, then this breath would run through all of those energy points along the center of the trunk, through the heart center. This is not the physical heart, this is the metaphysical heart center in the center of your chest. And perhaps up the face, perhaps the front to the crown of the head. See if you can just get that sense. Imagine it if it's not quite there for you. And just keep a natural, normal breath. If you feel that you've gotten sort of the pathway identified, your next step would then be to begin regulating the breath to be a little more smooth and equal on the inhale and exhale. Relaxing and releasing and allowing this breath to be its natural, normal self. We want this breath, even though the inhale comes from the nostrils, we imagine that we inflate from the bottom, and we can inflate from the bottom of the pelvic floor up into the chest, and then, of course, peripherally into the arms and legs and neck and head. Let's take about 2 more breaths like this. And then after that, return to your normal breathing. Observe what that is. It may be the same thing or slightly different. The next thing I'm going to ask is that using your imagination, your will, we're going to ask that breath to move through the sides of the pelvis and up the trunk. So instead of central, as you inhale, imagine that you can direct the breath up through the sides of the pelvis, which means as you inhale, the belly descends slightly. It broadens. And the ribs, you're very conscious of the breath moving up the rib cage, inside the rib cage, inside, up to the chest, and feeling that lift at the sternum, and then exhaling from the bottom to the top. Let that go. And inhaling, broadening, imagining that the breath spreads from that central point at the bottom. Let it spread to the sides of the pelvis, sides of the rib cage, up the side body, inside the rib cage, up to the collarbones, lifting the chest, lifting the sternum, and exhaling from the bottom to the top. So the chest stays lifted as long as possible, without a strain, of course. Pranayama must be done gently, thoughtfully, with compassion. Take some regular breaths when you finished your exhale. After your next inhale, take a nice long exhale. Let your belly relax, your body relax. As you inhale then, draw that breath from the pelvis to the sides of the pelvis. So the belly recedes, the ribs lift from the inside up to the collarbones and sternum. And as you exhale from the bottom to the top, things relax back toward the center. Let's take one more breath there as you inhale. Broaden the pelvis, the abdomen goes down slightly. Ribs lift sequentially from the bottom to the top, up to the sternum. And then from the bottom, exhaling, relaxing the belly, relaxing the ribs, relaxing the chest. And then just rest your arms by your side. Resume your normal breathing. Now slowly begin to deepen your breath and Move your fingers and toes. Bend your elbows. One at a time, bend your knees, put your feet flat on the floor. And just rest there for a moment. You can put your hands back on your belly, on your trunk. Then stretch your arms along the floor overhead. Rock your knees a little bit side to side. This is a soft, easy movement. And then when you're ready, roll to your right side with your knees bent, with a nice pillow there. And just rest for a moment. And then roll forward, left hand on the floor pressing, then the right hand, and press yourself up to a sitting position. And sit in any comfortable position. You can sit on your blanket if you like. Find a balanced, straight position for yourself. Palms together in the center of the chest. That thumb side gently lifts that chest, shoulders move downward. Sit tall. As you exhale, bow your head for a moment in gratitude for all the blessings of your life. Namaste. Thank you for coming.